Don't you love it when your camera battery doesn't charge even though you had it on the charger for 2 hours?
Rainbow Ink!
Hey guys, welcome back to Rainbow Ink. It is another Percy Jackson Friday. I'm wearing my Camp Half t-shirt. We are sorting today, of course. If you don't know what sorting is, it's pretty much taking the attributes, the personality, the talents, powers that a character possesses in their movie, show, or even franchise, and sorting them into one little part. This is pretty much like how people sort characters into the Hogwarts houses, but instead of Hogwarts, it's Camp Halfwood. Instead of houses, it's cabins. And the characters from the movie that we are sorting today are from Peter Pan. I do have a set of cards here to go through everything. Let me show you them real quick. The cards that I'm going to be holding up. Zeus, Hera, Poseidon, Ymir, Ares, Athena, Apollo, Artemis, Hephaestus, Aphrodite, Hermes, Dionysus, and then we just have the 13 through 20 card is the other Captain's card, the ones that were added on in the end of the Last Olympian, in the beginning of the Lost Hero. For example, Hypno, Iris, Hades, Nemesis, those guys. So there's that. Why Hera and Artemis are in here, even though they do not have to make children. Again, like I stated, it's like attributes power-wise, how they acted in their movie, shows, franchise. And also, they do have cabins at Camp Half-Blood, so there's that. If I mispronounce any of these characters, I apologize in advance. So we're mainly sticking with the first film, but there is a character that I am sorting today that is from the second film, so we're going to lightly touch on the second film, mostly for that character. So there's that. And boy oh boy, I'm excited to sort Tiro for like the 5th time. So that's fun. Some of these characters I have sorted before in my original 3 or in their own singleized video. Disney fairies and Disney princesses. Sorry about that. Cough in the throat. So anyways, yeah, let's jump right in, starting with our first character, the namesake of the movie, Peter Pan. Now, of course, most of us know Peter Pan, whether it was through the original movie, the second movie even, the stage plays, or even Jake and the Neverland Pirates on Disney Junior. So there's that. But either way, in all variations, pretty much, Peter is childish. He, of course, lives on Neverland. He doesn't want to grow up. He's childish, acts like a child every 5 seconds, literally kidnaps Wendy so she can be the mom of the group, which we'll get into later on that, and all that. So, but I will admit, like, Peter is a good person. He's not the brightest one in the bunch, but he is, like, a good, kind person, somewhat. But downright to it, just childlike wonder. He acts like a child, all that jazz. So, I'm just gonna put Peter Pan in cabin 18, Hebe. So yeah, shocker. The guy who acts like a child, Sun, who is the goddess of youth and acts like a child. Let's be honest, all the gods act like children, but you get my point. Okay, next up. Literally stated this earlier, talking about Peter Pan. Wendy Darling. So I actually have 2 places I was thinking about putting her, which were either Hera, in a good way, not a bad way, and Athena, but I think I'm leaning more towards Hera. Reason for Athena, because she is smart, but Hera is, when she's not being the worst, is the goddess of marriage and family and blah 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 blah, and motherly instincts. I'm sure she at least cares about Ares. But anyways, Wendy is a kind, wonderful person, and literally one of the reasons why Peter brought her, other than not wanting her to grow up and stuff, is she is motherly. She brings her to Neverland to be that mother figure, and she's not ready to be a mother figure, even though she's kind of like one for her brothers and all that stuff. Does understand, like, hey, I do have to grow up, so. And she literally becomes a mom in the second film. She's this kind, motherly figure person, and she does care about her brothers, knowing that she can't stay in Neverland. She has to grow up. She has to go. You can't stay a kid forever, and everything else. So, for those reasonings, I'm gonna put her in cabin 2, Hera. Again, I know Hera is the worst, but you have to remember Hera is the goddess of marriage and family. She wouldn't be the worst if Zeus stopped sleeping with people and is faithful. Zeus was faithful, yeah, she wouldn't be like the way she is, but Zeus isn't faithful. Alright, next up, literally the character I teased about earlier. She's the character with the most sortings on this channel, Tinkerbell. This is like 4th or 5th time I've sorted her on this channel. This is literally the 2nd time I've sorted her this year because of the official / non-official Disney Princess video. Up there somewhere. And for Tinkerbell, I'm only sticking with how she acted in Peter Pan. I'm not talking about the Tinkerbell movies. I'm not talking about, like, any of the books that she originally came from, even though, and everything like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how she was in Peter Pan. And in Peter Pan, she was the worst. This is, like, the worst version of her. Literally, the Tinkerbell movies are the best version of her. And books, I think, are somewhere in the middle. Peter Pan, the worst. She is absolutely the worst. And funny enough, I know where I want to put her for being the worst. It's just, I just hold up this card, and aka Hera card, for the last character, and usually I don't like pulling the same card twice for characters, but I'm willing to make an exception because every other time I've sorted Tinkerbell, she's gone into the fest because she is a Tinker Fairy. But there's nothing about tinkering in this to begin with in either movies, and she's just the worst in both movies. I think it's a little bit dialed back in the second movie, because when it was in the second movie, Return to Neverland, she actually almost dies. But either way, I think, at least for the first movie logic, she should go in Hera, because Hera is the worst. Again, like I stated with the last character, Hera is only the way she is because of Zeus. Because of Zeus cheating on her and blah 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 blah. We all know stories of Zeus cheating on Hera dozens of times. But Hera is literally worst. And, like, is jealousy and stuff, and, like, Tinkerbell's jealousy of Wendy getting all the attention from Peter, and, like, everything else, and she loved Peter, and it's really weird. But either way, Hera. Literally, I just contracted both the good and the bad side of Hera for these two characters. It's hilarious knowing that they're going in the same cabin. I'm sure Tinkerbell will love that so much. But for this, but like I said, for this little bubble of Peter Pan, yeah, she's going to Hera. But any other time, probably it's going to be Hephaestus because of the Tinker Fairy-ness in building and stuff. So there's that. Okay, next up we have John Darling. And out of the three siblings, even though John is still a kid, he's more like, has more of the brains, but barely any at the same time. He's like philosophical because, of course, a character with glasses is usually smart, but he does take after his dad quite a bit and like is philosophical and try and like be often like tries to speak in a philosophical way. Yes, he's into parody, but he's of course still a kid. He's listed as very brave. He's very clever. When him and Michael and were playing with the Lost Boys, he was the leader, and he's very like mature for his age, but he's still like playful and stuff. So it's that mix of maturity and childlike wonder. But for the moment, I think John would be kind of fitting in Cabin 6 Athena. So yeah, I think out of him and his three siblings, he would go into Athena, Wendy would go into Hera, the good side, and Michael would get to Hera in a minute. But I think out of those three siblings, he would go into Athena. Okay, next up, I literally just said Michael Darling, and let me tell you, it's always the youngest sibling in Disney films where they have literally pretty much nothing. They're just labeled as the youngest. Of course, he like looks up to his siblings and loves them, and everything else in between, like mimics John and everything else. He's just the baby. He's the little kid and like the innocence of like child youth, and like literally there's barely anything for this character. So I really don't have any place else to put him besides Cabin 18 Hebe. I know we were going so strong with Peter being Cabin 18 Hebe, and that's completely fine, but like I said, it's always the youngest sibling who's like the baby, where they really don't get anything, which is, I get it, they're the youngest, they're the baby. Everything else besides, oh, they're innocent, they're cute, they're clumsy, they're playful, like all that stuff, I get it, but still, I really don't have any other place to put Michael besides Cabin 18 Hebe, so he's just gonna go in there for the moment. I'm sorry, guys. Tell me in the comments below if you think Michael should have gone someplace else, but either way, there's that. Okay, so for this next character, or well, group of characters, I'm just gonna group them all together because it's just gonna be easy for me to do this, which is the Lost Boys. I already have two places where I want to put them, and this is so redundant. Hebe, because of like, they're similar to Peter, they want to have fun, they want to be kids, blah 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 blah. And Hermes, which is actually the one I'm more leaning towards, because they're always like playing jokes, wanting to play, being pranksters, all this jazz. And really, in the books, at least to me, Hermes is the throwaway cabin. Literally, like in the first book, Hermes would take anyone, especially like all the unclaimed kids. And that's where they went. So he was willing to take anyone. He was one of the cabins that always had the most kids and blah 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 blah. But they like to have playing jokes and pranks and like just being kids. But I don't want to put them in Hebe because they're in Netherland. So, and I know like that kid nature of playing jokes is like kid nature, but it's like pranks and like stuff is more Hermes to me. So I'm just gonna put them in Cabin 11 Hermes to give them some difference to Peter Pan and Michael that I've already put in Hebe. You guys tell me in the comments below you think that maybe they should have gone in Hebe or someplace else, or even if you singularly sort them. I didn't singularly sort them because I didn't see no need to. This is like with like Chip and Dale and Huey and Louie in last month's video and all that stuff. Sorry if the angles seem weird. Had to replace my camera battery. Our next character, our villain, Captain Hook. I'm pretty sure I maybe sorted him once before. I do not remember. It was like in one of the 3 original videos. I think I did, I just don't remember. And similar to Wendy, I actually have him wanting to go in the same spot. Hera, because of the bad way, and Athena, because he is very smart. It's just his plans get foiled. There's just a thin line, to me at least, between the conniving, horrible person of Hera with the smarts of Athena. Because, let's be honest, Captain Hook pretty much probably is the smartest out of all these characters. But he's also the most, like, conniving and, like, most selfish. He's very, like, menacing and conniving and all this way. And, like, the reason I'm saying Athena, he is, like, a dummy at times, is he does, like, have his smart moments. And he's, like, the leader and captain and everything else. And he, like, literally shot and killed one of his crew members because he was annoyed of the singing. So he can be very spiteful. He can be very, like, rude and, like, conniving and, like, just hate people. And part of me just wants to throw him in Hera. It's like the bad way of Hera. And it's gonna be weird knowing that I've already done Tinkerbell and Wendy in this cabin too, so why not throw Captain Hook in here, as he's like very conniving and like all that stuff in here can be like conniving, especially conspiring against the women that Zeus impregnates. Yeah, I think for the moment, Hera. Sorry guys. So next up, we have Captain Hook's right-hand man, probably the best out of pretty much all these characters in my opinion, Mr. Smeed. And let me tell you, why is Smeed with Captain Hook? Smeed is literally too good for Captain Hook. Like, Smeed is a nice, amazing person, and he's like he's loyal to Captain Hook for some reason. He's like kind-hearted. He's like the best boy, and for some reason he's on this horrible pirate crew, and like I just don't know. But again, he's like very loyal to Captain Hook. We've like literally seen him with Captain Hook in pretty much almost every span of connection that these characters come together, whether it's the 2 movies, whether it's even the Pirate Princess movie, Jake and the Neverland Pirates, like all of this stuff. He's loyal to Captain Hook. He's Captain Hook's literally only friend, with air quotes around them. So I think the only place that would fit him, because of the loyalty and like stuff like that, would be Cabin 9 Hephaestus. I think that would probably be the best place to put him in all of it. Now finally, we are on our final character. This is the only character I'm gonna talk about from the second movie, aka Return to Neverland, which is Jane, Wendy's daughter, and these two are too far apart from in between. Are completely different, and I'm glad for that. So there's not like, Jane did not take after her mother. It's great. Anyways, Jane doesn't believe in fairies. Like, she doesn't have that childlike wonder until really the very end, and when she goes into Neverland, she literally gets kidnapped because Captain Hook thinks she's Wendy when she's not Wendy, and like stuff like that. She's literally living in, is it World War II or World War I? No, that she's like very level-headed. She's very brilliant and like mature for her personality, so she takes after her grandfather and her uncle John. So there's that. She had to grow up fast because she was living in World War II, so she doesn't like believe in fairies and everything else. But of course, like during the course of the movie, like her personality changes when she goes to Neverland because of like, you know, character arc, and she comes to terms with the fact that like magic exists and fairies and everything else in between. Like literally Tinkerbell almost dies because of Jane and gets back to life because she restores her faith in fairies. That's how it happened. So I think for the moment because she is very like intelligent. She's very level-headed, very everything, very mature, and everything else. I think I'm gonna put her in cabin 6 Athena. I put her in the same cabin where her uncle went. The oldest of her 2 uncles, John, not Michael. That was our last character, guys. Any characters that I did sort in this video and you think they should have gone someplace else, tell me in the comments below. Especially with the Lost Boys. Try and help me figure out where they should go, like, singularly. Any characters that I didn't sort in this video, which there were like a couple here and there that I didn't sort. Tell me in the comments below where you think they should go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please make sure to like and subscribe, all that beautiful jazz. Last video right there, subscribe beneath me. Playlist of all the sorting videos are right there. Also be in the link description below with a Percy Jackson playlist. And I'll see you guys next time here on Rambling.